All right, so just a quick video here. I want to show you how the cold really affected the Dolphins. I mean, people don't like to make excuses, and there were injuries, and Kansas City is a really good defense. I mean, there was a lot to it, and it was at home, but KC, the footing was better for them right off the bat. Though the Dolphins started to adjust on defense a bit, and the culture is really struggling a bit for the Dolphins. What a depressing end of the year where KC was flying pretty high. So there's a whole, like, again, a lot to it, though the Dolphins are fighters. I mean, I noticed a lot of their defensive guys, like Wilkins, the D tackle, who's so good. He struggled in the first drive or two getting his footing, and then he chopped his steps a little smaller, and he was working on it so throughout the game. So, a lot of fight with that Dolphin culture, and I wouldn't like put the bag on them. I think they could have a real big year next year, but the way the season ended was just the way it was. But I want to show something very specific here. The way that Tua in quick game, and there's a big talk always about this. In quick game, you don't a lot of times get the laces right. You grab the football however you get it and you throw it. I want to show you something how that I don't know enough to say that's good or bad. I love the idea of quick game. I love the idea of getting that ball to your hand when that's the strategy. Okay? That would mean I like the variety. I like, hey, when you can get the good drop back and the timing, and you got the laces, everything's perfect. When you don't have time for this, so you can still do timing in quick game, but sometimes you're just going right to space. It just depends. There's a million ways to skin a cat, and I don't mind when it's like, hey, sometimes we don't get our hands on the laces. The problem with this is how cold it was, and I just want to show you, this ball's like a rock, okay? The Dolphins got behind quick with a terrible start, fought back, had a big long touchdown to Hill, were hanging on, the defense started playing better. They come out in this drive and start powering the ball, one run after run to Mostert, and it was awesome. And the line was fired up. And honestly, they could have kept that momentum. Who knows where this game would have swung? Yes, they still had so many disadvantages on their side, so it would have been hard to win no matter what. But here they were driving 3rd and 2. This is not a read. This is quick game all the way. Not again, quick game can have reads. The KC does that, but this was a screen with 3 receivers blocking over here. A lineman's going to come out, and you're just getting that ball, and you're getting it out of your hand. Boom. It looks pretty good. That looks like it could be a first with Mostert, tough runner. What the hell? Oh, my God. Okay, so first inclination is ball's too cold. It's like a rock. Mostert dropped it. But really, if you really looked at it, I could go back on that angle. You can see the ball sailed on Tua, which it did on his interception. It sailed on him many times. His footwork, I think, is a little... look, again, I'm not the professional at this. I wasn't a professional quarterback. I played the game, but... Okay, I played quarterback some too, but not professional. I think the footwork's... I'm not going to get into the footwork part, but it looks a little sluggish. And that happens. I know I've played in cold weather. I've never played in this cold of weather, but in a lot less cold, even your legs get funny. You got to get the blood flowing. I can't imagine in this game. So the footing, and also the legs. I mean, they have a heat under the field, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's way too cold, and I think his footwork was a bit sluggish, but that's not even a huge problem. I don't think it's really the ball. Look, when he throws it, the way he's letting it go, it just sails on him. That was all set up nice. And then because it's hard as a rock, Mostert couldn't get a bad pass. Normally, Mostert could have grabbed that. Now, look. This is why I'm really making this vid. Because I saw this great angle. Look, it gets it. Look at the laces. He is not close to the laces. He is not on the laces. When a ball's like a rock in the freezing cold, you can't tell me I would say you got to get on the laces. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's really true. I don't know if Tua would agree. Maybe it was a little sluggish on the footwork. Maybe it was just a mistimed thing going on. But hey, this team was timed up well throughout the year. So, Mostert's not a backup coming in. So I'm thinking it's laces in the really cold weather, and that ball just takes off on him. And it's terrible. That's horrible because that's a simple little scheme. There's no big deal there. That should have been a first, okay? See? Oh, yeah. And you might... The reason he couldn't move back, it really wasn't the hands and his feet. Everybody's having feet problems, footing on here. These guys are professionals. They did a really good job, but the footing is not good, I can guarantee you. So now we got 4th and 2. Now look at this. This is interesting. Well, first of all, the scheme is interesting, Bags. He actually, Romo has to see this. It's a double team. It really is legitimately a double team. He's doubling up Waddle over here and Hill down here. In fact, this is what a true double team looks like. This isn't a safety help or bracket assignment. This is true double team. Look at these two guys on Hill. This rarely happens. Rarely see this. And the one guy loses him, the one guy bangs off, then the other guy picks him back up. It actually worked because someone was there for Hill in the end, but Hill was open for a minute. These guys also double Waddle, as you see there. That's a classic. That is really a double team. That's what double teams really look like. It's a big difference between bracket when there's assignment orientations and zone with eyes towards a guy, or just match or cover shells. Where two guys end up on a guy because of a cover shell. This is different. This is real double team. Now, Tua, unfortunately, thought he had the scramble here, but he had a spy right here. This is just a cool trick from Spags. I never see people play this defense. He rushes two, has a spy, has two double teams. It's pretty funny. I mean, I love it, actually. It's cool. Nice variety. And now this guy's coming up, and Tua's like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And he's right. He's got Hill. But then it was too late. And too bad he didn't throw it right here. Keep his eyes up. He would have saw Hill right here, had that ball ready to go. That'd have been a first, okay? But that's not as bad as the screen. That screen was doable. That's a little hard. That was a trick. They tricked Tua. And here you see the classic of the double team. The other guy, McDuffie, comes off and got him. Tua had an opening, but now let's look at his lace. I want to look at the laces again. That's what we start with here. Tua comes up. Look, he's on the laces. He's on the laces. Because it was a planned pass. It wasn't so much a quick game, and it wasn't like, this was actually a read. This was a read. This was going to be a read. This was empty set. He had time to get that ball and lace it up. There it is, right there. He just laced it up, ready to go. This is a pass, not a quick game thing. So he's got the ball on the lace. Let's see if the pass is decent. Yeah, look at the pass. Look at that. Almost perfect. It's a little bit behind him, but actually, you had a guy, I think, you had Houston or whoever, Gay, almost got that. So that's part of the reason. But not that pass would have worked. It was just you threw it too late. But yeah, that's the difference with laces in the cold, maybe, and no laces in the cold. I don't know if that's a consideration people ought to think about, teams ought to think about. Maybe I'm wrong. You have to ask Tua what he thinks and whatever. But to me, it looks like much easier with a rock, a ball as hard as a rock, that you have at least some laces to hold on to. Or maybe they tell me, hey, the ball, because I never played in 0 degree. I don't know if the laces, it doesn't even matter because it's so hard. But this was a good decent pass. The other one totally sailed on him. All right, this is, there it is. Just wanted to add this in quick. Look at this slip. Look at it. It doesn't have it on the laces. This is late in the game. Just another bad flip out to the screen here. Got Chris Jones jumping around. But, boom, right there. Look at it slipped. You can blatantly see it slip out of his hand. Right there. See that? Just trying to show you the facts. The ball slipped out of his hand, went flying. It didn't slip that bad in the other ones, but when it just does that just a tiny bit, it sails, or it's inaccurate. I did notice I could have jumped on and put a lot of edits together of times where he actually did move his feet better. After that, the one that I showed, he started moving his feet better. They were more alive, and that definitely helped. And he was getting the laces more. You could see he was, re-gripping real quick, trying to get the laces. But it's not the style when they go real quick game. It's like get it and throw it as quick as possible. And in this cold weather, you can see, my point being that the cold weather affected Miami more so. I think there was when your culture is beat up like they were at the end of the season with all those injuries, that doesn't help to all of a sudden get real cold. McDaniel tried to use that as a positive, but then you add in the fact that your schematics don't work that way, and also your guys aren't used to it. And, the Dolphins looked like they were having more trouble with the footing. So it's just a double, a triple, a quadruple whammy. There's so much to it. You're obviously the game's away. You're in the Chiefs state. And you're playing a really good defense. There's so many factors. But you take this into a warm weather game, it suddenly starts to even up quickly. And the Chiefs, one last thing, they fought. I mean, that defense fought. It could have been a lot worse. I mean, they fought. I don't think it's like, okay, this whole thing goes down the tubes. But that's 2 years in a row, a lot of injuries. Again, a lot of teams are trying to figure this out, not just the Dolphins. So that is something to figure out. But just wanted to show you how the simple idea of the way you're holding the ball and not having your fingers on the laces when it's so cold, it can slip.